You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
In the space of half an hour, the most remarkable thing happened at this podcast. We had Dr. Ben Fordham, MD, managing Don, on the line from Sydney. Suddenly the great Rex Hunt rolled up in his car, walked in. I think he swore at Ben, or he swore with him. Don't know what he was talking about. And then the chicken.
No, hang on. He's driven around the block. You've got to add to the story. Rex got in the black SUV, has driven around the block.
Yes.
He's now come back. He's outside entertaining Ivan and Fiona.
Yes, Fiona's gone out down.
And I just had a good chat with him.
And the chicken's here, and the chicken called in to speak to the doc. The doc, the doc's eyes were going around like Catherine wheels. He didn't know who we were going to put on next. We've got Mick Christian, who I was going to say the doc had, he said the doc's got a very nice slow voice. I was going to mention that, but didn't get a chance to blow wind up his coit. The chicken's here, and Rex is out there. God knows if he walks in again what happens. But
he's coming in to have a coffee with me, he said.
It's what?
He's coming in to have a coffee with me, he said.
Well, that'll be interesting, as we don't have coffee here. You'll have to take him down the street.
Great. Now he'll blame me for that.
Yeah. Get in the car with him, see how that goes.
That's not going to happen.
Park. So here we are. So this is we've.
Hang on, I'd like to know why Ricky's here. Rick, were we plugging anything?
Well, no. Rex said, "Can we catch up?" And I had him on tracker, and I followed his car, and his car was here.
You had him on tracker. That's sneaky little
tracker?
boy.
Oh yeah. Don't you know how that works?
Are you serious?
I know where you go every second of your life.
With the marbles tracker.
Can you track me?
Yep. If your phone's on location services, you can.
Really?
You can track anyone.
I'm getting it off location services immediately. How do you get it off location services?
Well, you've got to go to settings.
Now I've got the technician here just fixing that right now.
Now, can I give some shout-outs?
Yeah, you can. And Mick Christian's here. We've got to crank up things, sales. You can't keep up with them, Mick. You said the hats and the T-shirts and the stubby holders. How many times have you had to reorder and have them
8 times,
reprocessed?
Stubby holders so far, yes.
Stubby holders.
Now I've got a shout out too from a Jennifer, late contact, Jennifer Urada from Canton, Georgia in the United States. Sam, and she wanted to draw your attention to the referendum.
The voice.
The voice, yes, to say, to ask people to use a biro when they write no. Not a pencil.
Why?
Because they can erase it. They can fudge the vote.
Use a pencil for yes, do you, Mick?
Yeah. I didn't ask that question.
No, they can fudge the vote.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Very good point.
Yes.
Then you can get a rubber out.
A what?
A rubber.
Ooh.
What do you mean, a rubber?
We used to call them rubbers. They're erasers.
I call them contraceptives.
Yes, I know. But we used to call them rubbers at school, but they're erasers, aren't they?
And in the back of the Tirana.
Yeah, put a rubber on.
Hang on, what are we talking about?
Do you know what the knob on the end of a condom's for? You know what the knob on the end of a condom's to stand on to get it off.
You can get it off.
Now, so you take a rubber along to the vote. No, you take a biro along.
You take biro. Yes, that's what
you
Jennifer
made a hat
was
for
saying.
me. It's got no on it. We're going to show that in a minute.
Yes, we will do that.
So the shout out. What did the last cap with Don's signature, Ivan's, the doctor's, mine, and Rex's? What did that go for?
$500.
Rex's signature shortly will be worth $5 million.
$5 million the way.
$5 million it'll be worth.
Why? Because
Nick Monaghan from Ogan.
What?
Do you think he's not capable in the future of signing?
He could be anywhere on the planet. He mightn't be able to be tracked down. Go on. So what are we up to?
$500, Sam. Yes.
Yeah.
Nick Monaghan from Ogan.
Monaghan from Owen. Is that it? That's all the hats gone?
That's all the hats gone, yes.
Well, it's been quite a good exercise, hasn't it, Mick?
It has been very good. Thank you very much.
And if they want to buy the T-shirts with the "You Cannot Be Serious" on them.
And we're looking at doing the polo shirt soon.
Are we?
Yeah, we'll do
and
that.
the caps, "You Cannot Be Serious" caps.
And,
well, it's going great.
And a wife beater too, Sam.
A what?
A wife beater singlet. A wife beater. I know it's politically incorrect to say
A lot of tradesmen have asked
but
for
it's
that.
they're called wife beaters. I know it shouldn't say it, but it is. Now, Don, do you think you'll be going to this?
Well,
Gil McLaughlin apparently is having an 800 guest farewell for him for the AFL. What do you think Gil McLaughlin would hang his hat on at the AFL? What's he done that's been memorable? He's fucked up the finals in Perth. He fucked up...
Whoa. What do you mean he fucked
Well, they
up
went over to Perth, the finals.
No, that was the
he
COVID
stuffed
thing
up
you're
the
talking
Adam
about.
Goods thing by telling him not to boo Adam Goods. He fined us for the Winmar fraud. That's the greatest fraud of all time. You wonder why we're against him. He fucked up the Clark Fagan bullshit at Hawthorn by not stepping in. He's signalled that the AFL...
I think the Hawthorn thing is a little bit different. I wouldn't be blaming him.
He tipped the AFL in for without any consultation to vote yes for the referendum.
No, that's gone cold now. He tried to, but I think the clubs or somebody at the AFL have advised better, and I think the AFL are taking a neutral stand.
Yes, it has now because someone has ramped up and said, no, you can't make these arbitrary decisions on our behalf. That's exactly
I think
my
the
point.
worst thing he's done is ring you on the Monday or the Tuesday before we had Michael Warner on our show on the Wednesday, offering his condolences the passing of Amanda, which was 6 weeks earlier, and also wanting to catch up for a cup of coffee. Have you had that cup of coffee?
No, and how likely is that to happen? I tell you, I don't care what happens to that man or whatever, he will stand condemned for the most outrageous pandering and slobbering suck-up to what he thinks is virtuous by taking you, me and Sheehan to an arbitration about daring to discuss what Nicky Winmar lifted his jumper for, which we all agreed that Winmar said he did it for whatever reason. We agreed with that, and he went on with us, and we got charged. I'll never forgive him for that because he was just threw us under the bus for his own short-term white privilege advantage, and he should stand condemned, and he's been a disgrace to the competition, and he's been unworthy to lead it. That's only my opinion.
I think you're a little strong in some of those things, but...
Oh, yeah? Well, what do you disagree on?
Well, as far as leading the competition...
Yeah, how hard would it be to lead this competition?
It's not hard because it is a monopoly.
Yep.
There is no competition. They don't pay tax on profits.
So, what 800 people going to his farewell? I'd like to see you going to wax lyrical about him. Who do you think that'd be? All the people he's...
800? You couldn't have 800.
Oh, well, I know someone who was asked.
And they're one of 8, and they think it's 800.
Well, they said, would you like to be one of 800?
Oh,
God. Oh, you'd be interested to know who it was that was asked who said they weren't going.
Sorry?
You would be very interested to know.
Sorry.
You would be interested to know who was asked, who I was speaking to, and who said that he was asked, but they're not going.
Right.
But I'm not. Now,
well, you'll tell me off air.
Can I? Now, I know.
Can I give a shout out?
Yes.
I've been trying for 3 sessions. I was having...
Well, you were eating for most of them.
And I was eating this particular day too, down at the Tyab Bakery. And Anthony Williams came in.
You bring this up every other week about the Tyab Bakery.
I do not. I have never eaten there before.
It's better than the roads and the potholes. And
yeah, that's right.
Well, the signs are still there on that. And
get on with it.
It takes 3... It's been there for 3 weeks, the signage.
Is Rex still out the front?
He's gone upstairs.
Is he?
And
Jesus.
And Anthony came up to me. He said, "How do you put up with Sam?"
Yep. Well, why don't you answer, Anthony? How do you?
Well, obviously,
go on.
Obviously, it resonates with Sam. Your attitude.
Don, answer, Anthony. How do you put up with me?
I do.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Now, I was at...
Maybe I'll keep your brain sharp.
I was at a meeting at... Gee, here we go. I'm going to try and pronounce this. Bunjil Bagora. Bunjil Bagora. I was waiting in the dark to be admitted into a meeting.
Bunjil Gubador.
I've never heard of that. Where's that?
Bunjil Bagora.
What is that? That Colac or something? Is that the Aboriginal name for something?
Well, I think it's an Aboriginal name.
For what?
For Waverley Park.
Exactly. And that's your club. Your club, who is run by that boy who wouldn't come on and be interviewed by us, has sent you an invitation. It's got 3 paragraphs about the Aboriginal ancestry and what we should do for it and what we should... And it's got all the flags on the back except the Hawthorn one.
But anyway, I was standing in the dark waiting to be admitted.
To Bunjil Bagora.
And Paul Ansell recognised me. How he recognised me, I think it was because my skin colour was white and I was trying to hide in the dark.
Did he make the condoms?
He barracks for Collingwood. He's a magpie.
Ansell condoms.
He brought the rubbers.
You can get the ribbed condoms. If you turn them inside out, you got all the action. Go on, Don.
So Paul's responsible for him, is he?
Did I tell you this bloke bought some food-flavoured condoms? And he said to his missus in bed, he said, I've bought some food-flavoured condoms. And she dived down under the covers and started to go down on him.
Oh, excuse me.
I started to give oral sex. And she came back up after a while, licking her lips, and she said, is that the onion and garlic flavour? He said, I don't know. I've left them at work. Go on, Don. Go on, yeah. Ansell, is he the man that makes the condoms? Go ahead.
Didn't he fly planes? Bob Ansell?
Bob Ansell, you idiot. That's Mr. Joyce and Mr. Joyce. He oversaw he was at Ansett when they went broke. Go on, Don. Who else are you saying hello to?
No.
Now, can I ask you this a serious question? Mick, what are you going to say?
No, I was just going to slip a blue joke in, but anyway.
No. You're right, Mick. You're doing well today. You're doing well.
I know people will say to me, particularly when they hear this, and they'll say, "Oh, well, you would say that." I just want you to think about this. Luis Rubiales, who was the head of the Spanish ladies soccer team, kissed Jenny Hermosa.
Yeah, I saw all that.
Hang on, he kissed her on the lips.
Yeah, I saw all that.
And a furor has broken.
That's right.
Because they've charged him with sexual harassment and coercion.
And I saw it, and I have not changed my opinion.
Do you think, Don, I don't know, this is the beauty of not speaking about things before we go to air. I don't know what your opinion is, but if I could say, if Lewis, in the excitement of winning the World Cup for women, if he's a heterosexual or whatever, and he genuinely as emotionally kissed her on the lips and she took exception, could she just say, that's out of order, Lewis, back off, unless there's something else going on that he's been doing over the years?
She didn't resist when he did it. She put her hand on his hip, and I think pressure has come to bear, and now she's changed her thing. Now, the other thing with kissing, when I was growing up, you used to kiss people on the lips. But over the years, it's developed into what I call the Turak kiss, the insincere kiss, which is like
air
cheek
kiss.
to cheek.
Yeah.
It's a load of bullshit.
What's that got to do with Luis Brialis kissing her on the lips?
Well, that's how you used to kiss. When I was younger, that's how you used to kiss.
How could he be asked to resign and be charged with sexual harassment and coercion after they've just won the biggest trophy of all of them together? She surely could say, hey, mate, I don't appreciate that. Please don't do that again.
Couldn't she resist?
Well, she's not going to make a scene on the world stage.
Well, she's making one now.
And there must be something in it because he's resigned.
It's a
he's taking a civil action against him now.
But Ivan, we know all that, mate. Why has he resigned? Because
the pressure.
The pressure of people saying...
Because even the men's team are refusing to deal with it.
Because
woke.
It's just the woke... I'm
everywhere.
saying to you, why wouldn't someone say to her or him, why wouldn't he say, hey, listen, I didn't mean anything by it, and if you take offence... He probably did say that, unless there's something else, unless he's done it before, I don't know, but it just seems such bullshit.
Unless he's done it before. Yep.
What do you mean, unless he's done it before?
Well, unless he's got a history of doing something.
Oh.
Yeah. So I listened to the football, Don. I watched the football. They're pretty ordinary games except for the Brisbane one. I listened to the football, and our friend who just came in here and has just breezed in and out, Rex Hunt, I listened to the football on radio. How bland and boring was the call?
I don't know.
They just say, the ball comes down, Scott gets it, it's gone to Newman, could be over the line, out of bounds, umpires. Rex, at least, in 2 decades of football, made the most boring game sound fantastic.
It's not a boring game.
What?
It is not a boring game.
He made a boring game sound fantastic, but Don.
And he also called every player's name, so every player. You know, today you get a game of footy and so turning around asking who was that? Who was that?
It's a very good point, Mick. So here's the thing. So when you're listening to a broadcast on the radio and it says Scott gets the ball out to Christian gets it to Newman back to Scott, would you like to know who Scott and Christian and Newman play for? Why don't they get it over to Hawthorn Scott, who kicks it to...
if you've been to... I went to and witnessed it first time for 22 years. Very hard game to call now because it's just like a rugby pack, and who's got the ball? There's shorthand balls. You don't know who it's going to.
Who's got the ball and what team do they play for?
Yes, but it's very hard to differentiate what's doing what and who's doing what, the way it is so congested. Once upon a time it was open, you had a time to reflect or take a pause and say, this is going to happen, or you could anticipate as a commentator as to what was happening. Nowadays, no. So it is the game at fault.
Yeah, that's right, but you could still make it exciting. At least that man, I don't know where he is. Is he still in the building, in the house? He could, umpire Darren Goals. He'd get right into it, Don. He did. Rex, old Rexy. Where is he? I thought he was behind me. That's Ricky. Where is Rex? Is he upstairs?
Rex is, he's giving a cup of tea upstairs.
Don, so this is it's been a...
Geez, I have a boring life.
It's been a bit of a conclusion to a... What are you doing, Mick? Jesus. It's been a conclusion to one of the most frantic and hectic days I've ever seen. Holy mackerel. Suffice to say that the stubby holders and the shirts, Mick, and the hats... the "you cannot be serious" hats. How can you keep up with ordering? There must be an embargo on how many you can order, surely, can't you? Because they're flying out, aren't they?
They're flying out, Sam. Yes,
don't sound so sincere, Mick.
People want to buy them at the grand final breakfast. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, what's Mick?
Mick, I'll get Mick there, and we'll sell them there.
Chicken. What's happening at the grand final breakfast? This is probably why you came in. What's happening? We might get you along, Don.
Well, we're trying our hardest to get Don to the grand final breakfast.
Where is it at?
Well, go on.
The Pier Hotel in Port Melbourne, around the corner.
I won't be going there. Why would I go there?
Well, they have been until someone reneged on a table.
What's the entertainment?
Saying he double booked.
Huh?
So don't talk over him. What did you say, Chicken?
I just said it was sold out, but then someone reneged on a table. The old story of, Chicken, I forgot I had another event on that day. It's like, please.
Oh, yeah, and you'll be selling the tickets 3 times over.
You'll
have them out on the road. You would have sold the tickets 3 times over.
Well, Rex Hunt wants one.
And who's the entertainment?
Rex Hunt. No, Sam Newman and Dane Swan, Wayne Carey might be popping in, and Doug Chappell, the comedian, and you will be? And myself.
No, I won't.
And Don.
I'll tell you why you will be.
Why?
I'll tell you after off air. I'll tell you off air. So, all right, and we can sell...
I'm not going to be bribed.
You probably will be.
No, I won't be.
We can sell the hats and the stubby holders, and we can give trips on the boat.
Mick, if they're walking out like you say they are, you'd be able to reduce the cost, wouldn't you? And
what would you do
that
for? Why?
I think you got to be. I think you got to be fair.
Why sell your soul?
Yeah. I think you got to be fair. We should take a lead from the state government, the way they're trying to make everybody equal. And
now, I don't want to be ungracious, Mick, but you brought a book in called Harder Than Football about wartime footballers who've played. It's that thick you could jack your car up with it. You open it up and it's got 8 million names of people who have played football, all in alphabetical order. What is the point of that book?
Sent in by a listener to give to Don to have a look at it.
Will you be reading that, Don? Have a look at it.
I've read some of it, yeah.
Yeah. It's a great book.
Well, it's only just lists of people who played football.
Footballers who played during the wars.
All the wars.
So they played during the wars.
During the various wars, World War I right through.
It's a lot of footballers.
It is. You are
Now,
right.
Don,
Ricky.
I tell you,
500
now
pages.
here, I'm going to put you on the spot here. We're going after this in about half an hour to a AFL Life members dinner, lunch, are we? Or what is it called?
Yes, Life Members Lunch at...
John Nichols asked us
John
to go.
Nichols.
I want to ask you this. If we get there and they do Welcome to Country...
Oh, no.
no, hey, if we
I'm
get,
hungry. I'm not walking out. I'm hungry.
would you stand up and say, with great respect, could we welcome everyone in the room and could you not lay this on us? We are all here, we're all Australians, and please stop patronising us. Would you do that?
Are you taking Chrissy Swan with you? No need to cough. Just give me a yes or no.
I'm not going to ask you what information you got about. Anyhow, I was only responding to her being gratuitously after clickbait mentioning my name and then knowing that I would be asked about it and respond, and this will probably go on and on and on.
Anyway, you're relevant. You're still
motives.
relevant,
What?
which is important. You're still relevant, which is important.
Oh, is it, Don? So
For you, it
did
is.
you hear me about going to the lunch, the AFL lunch? Do you think we'll be welcome to country there at the AFL at Marvel Stadium?
No, I don't think so.
Well, that
I'll take a bet on. I think because the gentlemen are older, they're baby boomers, and
Yep.
before the baby boomers.
Yep.
And I believe that this upcoming referendum is the baby boomers versus the rest.
Yep, and it won't get up.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't agree with
I
you.
don't know.
I don't agree
I don't know about the numbers. The baby boomers, some of them have kicked the
What
bucket.
don't you agree,
Oh, it's
Chicken?
not driven by the baby boomers.
Sorry?
It's not driven by the baby
The
boomers.
social elites it's driven by, the people...
No, the ones who are kicking up, Ricky, are the baby boomers.
Yeah.
And, whereas the younger people, especially in Victoria,
All right.
they're pro-voice.
Well, yesterday in Port Melbourne, outside
Sam, I
Coles,
gotta
they had
tell
the
you-
Yes people
Just a
giving
minute,
out
Mick,
pamphlets
please.
and everything. Every person who walked past, every time I did, which I go to Coles about 20 times a day.
Why do you go to Coles 20 times a day,
Because I
Rick?
live across the road.
And
I've got
what
nothing
do you
better to
buy
do.
each time you go across, Ricky?
I buy Fanta sometimes. Sometimes I buy Cheezels.
Oh, right.
Other times...
Why wouldn't you just
like
go in
Adrian
and
Elsie.
save yourself and do something productive for the rest of the time, because you're wasting a lot of time.
It's called
walking.
exercise, Don.
Ricky, what did you say about the pamphlets, which Don...
They were handing out Yes pamphlets, and not once did anyone grab one and go, yeah, I'm getting behind. And the amount of people who walked past them and said, no, piss off, I don't want to get in, just get out of our
Don't be
Coles.
rude. You don't have to be rude and say piss. No, I'm not saying this to you,
Oh,
but you just say no, thank you. I'm voting
The greatest
no.
waste of taxpayers' money in the
Now
history
go
of
on,
the world.
Mick, please.
I got to tell you about Bruce, who got home from the Mardi Gras.
Here we go. This is the final blue part of
with
it.
a sore bum, Sam.
Go on, Mick, please.
He thought he better go off to the doctor. So he goes off to the doctor. He goes and he says to the doctor, he said, you might want to refer me to a proctologist for what I've got here. And he said, what seems to be the problem? He said, I've got a sore bum, doctor. And he said, well, round behind the curtain and drop your tweeds, he said. And so Bruce nicks around there and drops his tweeds. He comes back and the doctor says, now where is it sore? He said, right there, right in the middle. He said, right at the entrance. And he said, well, there's the problem solved. He said, so long as you keep calling it the entrance, that problem's it's going
Not the
to be
delivery
sore
hole.
for a long time.
Sorry.
Mick, I tell you, the first secret to telling a joke is don't laugh at your own
jokes.
material, particularly before you get the punchline out. Now, we can delete it. Why don't you tell it again? I'll delete it. So now, Mick, have you got anything? Hang on just a minute. Yes,
want
hang on
another
just
one?
a minute. Right. Now, Mick,
Yeah.
just before we finish, have you
You
got
haven't
anything?
seriously deleted that.
Hang on, mate. I've deleted. If I say I've deleted it, people will know I've deleted something. Start again. Tell Mick, what have you got as we leave?
I said, I've got to tell you about Bruce, who got home from the Mardi Gras with a sore bum.
Go on.
He's laughing, not me.
Well,
So off to the doctor he goes, and he says to the doctor, he said, look, you might have to refer me to a proctologist with this, he said, because I've got a very sore bum.
go on.
He
you,
can't
Mick.
spit it out.
This is extraordinary.
And the doctor says, around the curtain, and dropped the tweeds, he said, and he comes up and he said, now, Bruce, he said, where does it happen to be sore? And Bruce said, right in the middle there, right at the entrance. And he said, well, there it is. He said, problem solved.
Mick, for God's sake, man. Don't stop.
Yep, okay.
Now just...
Why don't you read it out?
I'm going to
You read it out. I think you do a better job.
No one will know we've deleted 2 of these. I'm going to get this finally. If he can not laugh at
No,
the
he will.
punchline,
You do it.
I don't even know the joke. I can't.
But
He
he's got it
doesn't
there.
finish it. Hang on, just a minute. Don't
In the
speak.
head.
Just a minute. Right. That's deleted. Now, Mick, as you leave us, have you got anything else on your mind?
I just got Bruce. He gets back from the Mardi Gras with us, and he's got a sore bum. So
Who was this, Bruce?
Shut up, Don.
Bruce.
Okay. And so off to the doctor he trots, and he says to the doctor, he said, you may want to refer me to a proctologist, because
Come on, Mick, fuck you.
No.
And he said, what seems to be the problem? He said, I've got a sore bum. He said, around behind the curtain and drop the tweeds and come around here. And he said, now where does it happen to be sore? And he said, right here, Doc. He said, right in the middle, right at the entrance. And he said, well, there's the problem solved. He said, so long as you're calling at the entrance, you're going to have a sore bum for a long time.